Months ago, I hosted a historic call between Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel and King Hamad Al Khalifa of Bahrain.
In a landmark development, the Kingdom of Bahrain has joined the United Arab Emirates into normalizing diplomatic ties with the State of Israel. The last time Israel forged a peace deal with an Arab country was way back in 1994 with the Kingdom of Jordan, and before that in 1979 with the Arab Republic of Egypt. Let me remind you, these countries have resented Israel. They failed to even recognize Israel since its independence in 1948. Not recognizing a country is as good as being in a state of war. Such is the animosity that even a foreign national having visited the State of Israel is denied entry into GCC countries. Why this sudden warmth towards the State of Israel? I'm your host Sid, and I will take you deep into this topic and tell you about this new alliance that is being formed in the Middle East. But first, let's go back and take a look at the history. This conflict stems back to 1948 when the British allowed a Jewish state to be created in the state of Palestine. That's when 5 Arab countries along with Palestine attacked the Jewish state of Israel, and Israel emerged victorious in that war. Even after the war, relations continued to sour, largely due to Israel's annexations of the West Bank, which belonged to Palestine. But what suddenly changed? The real truth behind these peace deals is the Iranian threat. Even though the Israelis and Arab have their respective differences when it comes to Palestine and other issues, they have one common enemy, and that common enemy is the Islamic Republic of Iran. Let me explain. Iranian proxies Hezbollah and Hamas attack Israel, while the Houthi rebels are engaged in a battle with the Saudi military. The threat of Iran building up their nuclear arsenal is also viewed as a massive threat to both these countries. The truth is, Arab countries have had this alliance with Israel since a number of years, but haven't made it public due to fear of a public backlash due to the Palestine issue. Saudi Arabia and Israel have engaged in intelligence sharing. Israel provides Saudi Arabia with military technology and intelligence. These peace deals would have never taken place if it wasn't for Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is the leader of the pack in the Middle East. Saudi Arabia dictates the foreign policy of the countries it borders. Iran are well aware they are being cornered. Their foreign ministry issued a statement that the UAE and Bahrain have brought disgrace to the Muslim world. Iran will be worried if Israel and the other Arab countries decide on conducting military exercises together. The last thing Iran wants is Israel just across the sea. With the US military having a presence in countries like Oman and Kuwait, tensions have always remained high in the Strait of Hormuz. With the possibility of Israel entering the playing field, Iran could get more aggressive, or they may just mellow down. Iran may just use this alliance to their advantage by continuing to spread their propaganda to the Muslim world that they are the purest Islamic country, just to take a jibe at their rival Saudi Arabia. As for other parties involved, the reason why Donald Trump is taking credit for brokering these peace deals is the US election is coming up in November. Even though Donald Trump hasn't done anything and these alliances have been existing since ages, he still decides to take credit because his approval rate has fallen drastically. These peace deals improve Donald Trump's image. As for Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who's struggling to hold his power in Israel, will receive a massive boost with these peace deals. As for the Arab countries, yes, the public will be upset, but the monarchies are aware Israel can bring them technology, investment, businessmen, tourists, intelligence to weaken their enemies, and Palestine is a never-ending conflict, and that's gaining nothing. The Palestinians have been furious. They've accused the UAE and Bahrain of stabbing them in the back. Palestine also recalled its ambassador to Bahrain back to Ramallah. The real game changer will be when Saudi Arabia recognizes Israel. With the UAE and Bahrain forging diplomatic relations, it is inevitable that Saudi Arabia will follow suit in due course, and an alliance will be formed. an alliance which no one could have ever imagined, an alliance between the Arabs and the Israelis. Thank you for watching the video and hope to see you again soon. Please press the subscribe button and like the video. Thank you.